Hey everybody, it's Jason with On the Play Games, coming to you with some action from the tables at Grandline. Their store showdown was held this past Sunday, and we had a nice little group of players that came out. I want to thank everyone who did come out to support the shop and its efforts of getting back into the weeklies, and I look forward to repaying the favor by coming over to their home shop and hanging out with them when their store showdown comes around, if that hasn't already happened. But I do look forward to repaying that, because it was really nice to see the guys out and playing, and just in general just had a great time. So with that said, we're going to do what we normally do and start by taking a look at what our weeklies look like in the Charleston, South Carolina area. Remember, we got Final Round Tuesday still going on. From my understanding, they're kind of picking back up with their best of ones from some players that I talked to. So it's good to hear that weekly weekday Tuesday is firing for them. Final Round also does Fridays as a best of three. Animal House takes us into Saturdays. They have a very unique prize support they're offering players, and that includes a best of three. We're starting at 5 p.m. now. Trying our best to kind of move this up earlier in the day to accommodate players the best we possibly can. There is a $10 entry fee, but this one features a double win-a-pack. So every win gets you 2 packs, and then at the end of the event, we do a spend-a-win for a carbonite pack to any player that's part of the event. So everybody's got a chance to win that carbonite pack. So it's really awesome for just a $10 entry fee to see all that prize support. And then Grandline has Sundays going on at 3 p.m. We are looking at the possibility of moving that up a little bit. One, to kind of clear some space between the event at Grandline and that at Xynergy Gamers, but also to move it up a little bit more for player convenience. There's kind of a tilt point there for some players, and we're trying to navigate that. But for right now, for the rest of this month, that's going to be a 3 p.m. start time, best of three. An entry to the event gets you a pack right off the bat, and then it's a pack per win, and the winner gets an additional pack. Plus, you got the weekly promotional packs that are out there as well. So all of that's really, really cool. I'm glad to see the shops all out there. And these are not the only shops in the Charleston area. These are just the ones that are affiliated and work with On the Play Games to try to bring the best experience we possibly can to players that join our events. Or join their events, I should say, because really the shops, they are the ones that are hosting the events and organizing them and so forth. We're just spreading the news. Also, want to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to talk about the Grandline Games Store Showdown. So we aimed for 8. We ended up a little bit short of that. So we had kind of a mixed entry option that was brought up by Kevin, the owner of the shop, and players had an option of paying $20 and getting 3 additional packs, so 1/8 of a box, or they could pay $10 and have the standard weekly participation prizing done. So we had 6, which meant 3 rounds of play, and players made their choice whether they wanted to pay $20. So basically paying $10 for 3 packs, which is a pretty good deal, or just doing the $10 entry fee. Some players had all the cards already. They chose the $10 option. And those that were still looking for cards, they were able to get 3 packs for $10. And I want to thank Grandline for offering that to the players, because the more packs we get open, the more cards that are in rotation in the area, the more options players have with their cards to put in their decks, and just overall the better gameplay from better well-rounded decks. So definitely want to thank Grandline for providing that option there, and also being able to accommodate those players that already have all the packs or already have all the cards and they didn't need the packs. So since we didn't meet the 8, we went ahead and did that special accommodation there, and that was really cool. Next, we're going to go ahead and switch to some of the action at the tables. This is going to be the finals. It is a featured match between Sabine ECL and the Kylo Tarkintown. Both very strong decks. One more controlling, the other one definitely aggro. and we're going to kind of see how those play out here in just a moment. But I do want to highlight the fact that the Metal Fab life pucks are being used in this recording to highlight the life totals. And my opponent, because I am on the Sabine side, my opponent, he actually had his own life puck. So the word's out about the life pucks, y'all. They are definitely a great deal. At $30, you get the case that has a clip-on, allowing you to put it right on your bag. It's cushioned and hard-fitted, so water's not penetrating it. The life puck sits nice and snug inside of it, and is very well protected. So definitely want to give a shout-out to Metal Fab, which gave us an opportunity not too long ago to give away one of their life pucks. And from what I heard from the player, it just arrived this week. So that's really cool to see that Metal Fab and Brandon were so kind to offer one of those as a part of a giveaway that we did back in August the 14th. And that arrived recently. So big shout out to Metal Fab for basically donating that that life puck for us. You will see some additional tokens and things from other outlets, but I definitely want to bring attention to that life puck. It is such a great deal for everything that it has, and you'll actually see us talk a little bit about the a life puck that my opponent here has, Tanner, and he was checking it out, and you'll see that it's turned off right now. But we talk about ways of keeping it on. It does have a power saving feature where if it's not changed or touched for 5 minutes, it shuts off, which is a nice little feature if you forget to turn it off and put it in its case. Saves that battery. Without further ado, though, we're going to go ahead and get started with the gameplay. Like I said, this is the final round of Grandline's Shop Showdown. And you should be able to hear some of the banter in the game. I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. We do have this game speed at 105%, so it's a little faster. And one of the great things about playing against Tanner is that the pace of the game is pretty quick. But you will see a couple of mistakes that are made by each one of us. So Tanner leads with a mixed Mayfield, which kind of is the bane of just about any deck that goes against it. So I had to immediately ECL out on turn 1 and get it off the field because it will do a lot of damage. And the key is to try to keep the damage on your base as low as possible, so when Kylo reaches its flip turn, it's got a lot of work to do still. So here we are talking about the life puck, getting it turned on, and I'm over here showing them a couple of the setting features and the way you can turn the timer on. The timer really does help. One, kind of see how your pace of play is going, and also just keeps the life puck rolling so it doesn't turn off. So I pinged the base there at the end of that first round of play. Tanner's done a great job of keeping the board clear, and that's kind of where Kylo wants to be against Sabine after turn 1. No units on my side of the board. Tanner puts out Karis, I believe that is, the 2/4 that has the when defeated ability, use the force and give a unit -2/-2. I lay out the red 5, which is a great unit for Sabine because it can put pressure on the base while also applying a damage to units. So it kind of has a little bit of a control side to it. I pitch a for a cause that puts 3 points of damage on my red 5. And I go ahead and claim the initiative. He uses his Kylo, and you can start seeing those upgrades going into the graveyard. That's exactly where he wants to put them. You will hear some musical chimes going on. Tanner had the family out with him. It was really cool that his kids were so well behaved, and I can't tell you how awesome it is to see they were out there, and that Tanner was able to join us. He is force throwing and doing 4 points of damage, which ends my unit. It had 3 life or 3 health left on it. I go and deploy. He's going to bump into my Sabine, and I sink. And at this point, I swing back into and just do 1 point to the base. For a moment there, Tanner sees the 3 to the base, but we bring it down to the 1, and that defeats his unit. Leaves my Sabine at 1 life, though. So Tanner grabs that initiative, which is a pretty good place to be for him because he can clean the board up really quick. One of the cool things about these videos is we sometimes get to see some of the choices that are made by the players when they are resourcing, which is always really cool. We're now on the turn 4, 5 resource, and he powers the dark side. I go ahead and get rid of the very easy to kill wing leader. I swing in for 5 with the fleet lieutenant. He puts out a shielded unit, the Secret Sage. And one of the things I really like about this recording is there's not a whole lot of glare on the cards, except for on that far left-hand side. So we're now going into turn 5, 6 resources. Making some decisions on my lines. Put out another fleet lieutenant, and I'm swinging with the fleet lieutenant with the idea that the fleet lieutenant's a little bit harder or easier to kill than the Sabine. He pillages me, which was really strong because underneath that Poe Dameron was a Spec Force soldier that I've been holding since I believe the opening of the game, and that was going to be used to try to take Sentinel off of Kylo if he flips on me. I'm doing something that I normally don't do and going up to 7 resources. And I go ahead and swing in for 3. And at this point, he's got 7 life on his base, so he is in that danger zone. But he has that flip turn. So that snapshot reflexes puts him right in that 7 and bringing me up to 8 points of life. I think I just claimed. I probably should have went ahead and attacked. I resource another card. I think it's because I have a timely intervention and a wrecker in my hand. Timely intervention being in my resource pile. And I believe there's an error right here in the game. So I cast timely, right? And nope, I did replace it on this one. There is an error where I did not do the smuggle correctly. So we've got him coming in. Wrecker's going to do 5 points of damage to a unit that has 7 health, and then ambush in, and that puts 5 damage onto the base. And they both trade. So not a bad spot for me to be in, as that puts him at 2 life, and I have 1 unit up that can swing for 3 damage. So if he has a removal spell, he's still in the game. Without a removal spell, we are sitting in a position where I can take that game. And that's where it ended with that little fist bump. Me and Tanner have known each other for quite a long time, starting with Magic the Gathering, like, I don't even know how long ago it was. Probably 7+ years. So it's been a minute. So it's always an enjoyable game playing with him. And now the sideboarding happens. One of the things I noticed with my sleeves is that the sleeves I had with my sideboard, even though they were game-genic, were a little shinier than the rest of the deck. So to prevent any kind of ability of me seeing my sideboarded cards, just because they were a little shinier, I went ahead and just slipped the outer sleeves off of the main deck cards as I did my sideboarding. Took a little more time, but if you watch the clock, it's less than 3 minutes, which is your standard amount of time you have for sideboarding. It's 3 minutes from the end of the game. And I think we both do a pretty good job of staying inside that 3 minutes. So right now, Sabine is up 1 game, going into game 2. And Tanner gets the choice of who gets the initiative, which there'll be a conversation towards the end of the match, which I am going to let play out to its resolution, because there were some conversations about lines of play and stuff that I think were really interesting and that some of you may find informative, that would have led to Tanner winning. So looks like he may have sided out an Anakin. Not a bad idea. It is a rather expensive unit, and I am playing low to the ground, so not a bad decision if that was one of the cards that he sided out. I know that deck typically runs one in the sideboard already, so it may not have been sided out. It is removal in a sense after all, because most of my units, or most of the units in the Sabine list, do have a toughness of 3. So Tanner starts by putting the initiative token on his side, but he's like, nope, I'm not going to fall into playing Miggs Mayfield into an ECL unit. And, you know, that just shows you the versatility of when to use ECL. There is no standard, like, always do it this way. And it really depends on the board state and what you're facing and the threat that you're looking at. And Miggs is one of the just best threats that the Kylo deck has to deploy on turn 1. I have to chip that hand back. There was no 2-cost units or less, so there was no turn 1 play. There were some decent cards in that hand that potentially could have got me there in the long run, but had to ship it back. Sorry about that, folks. I had to turn the fan off in the background there. So knowing that he's giving me the initiative, I just lead with a ping the base. I did not represent it on my life puck yet, but I do catch that in just a little bit. And I had no turn 1 play, so I had to claim initiative. After the mulligan, still no turn 1 play, which is kind of unique. Doesn't normally happen for Sabine. We're going to lead again with pinging the bases. This is where I catch my ping from the first time. And just because that mat is labeled with ground units and space units, we kind of keep it in there. These force throws are tough. I'm doing everything I possibly can to keep a unit alive, Tarkintown's out of way. He has got a pretty commanding lead right now on the board. He is now up a unit. Sabine has got nothing, and that is not where Sabine wants to be. So I've got a lot of clawing back up into this game to do. And I got to tell you, that showcase for Kylo is absolutely gorgeous. I had to like ask him which Kylo it was because it looks like it's a red Kylo. But deploying out a space unit, he does 3 points of damage to it, and it goes 2 to my base as well. So that was a great play. And that was my play for the turn, except for to deploy my leader. I am considering pinging the bases first, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out. Now, an error happens here. My Sabine has lost all of its abilities, but when I swing at the base, 3 points of damage is put on that base. So that base should really only have 4 points on it because the attack trigger does not happen. It doesn't end up changing the outcome of the game, but it could have. Since Force Lightning takes away all abilities or attributes or of a card, Sabine would have only attacked for 2, and that on-attack trigger would not have happened. All right, so we were on that 5 resource play. I'm holding a Chewbacca. And this could have been a play error here, or just a judgment call error. I put Chewbacca into play, and I ambush into his unit, putting 2 points of damage on my Chewbacca. Chewbacca is one of the hardest units for Kylo to deal with when it's on the board. If he does a Power of the Dark Side, I just choose it, and it's done. I probably should have claimed right there, because I could have put 5 points of damage on his base before he swung in with the Lone Pike to kill Chewbacca. But I didn't, and it ends up costing me a little bit there. Got to turn my Sabine the correct way. Our buddy Scott was over on the side there and made the joke that Sabine was mad at me there and come at me. So down goes Chewbacca. And I don't have the best play in the world here, but we're going to tap all 6, lay a wrecker down. It looks like, yep, there's the wrecker. It takes out the Lone Pike, and I defeat a heroic sacrifice. He kills off my Sabine with a bombing run, which was really strong. And now we're on that flip turn for Kylo. I do get to put some damage on the base. And it's looking like, hey, I might pull out of this game, you know? But Tanner's going to have some opinions or something to say about that here in just a bit. All right, so he is looking over his upgrades. He does have a limited amount of upgrades. He does a Power of the Dark Side, leaving him four resources up. I go ahead and put out a K2SO. He does the flip. I should have knew right there that he had a trick up his sleeve in Force Lightning, which turns off the when defeated ability, so he doesn't take the damage there. And he swings in for, I think it's 6. Yep, taking me to 10. And again, I'm on the back foot. No units on the board. He has a unit up on me, and it's looking really strong for him. This is where I mess up. If you notice, I don't take the top card from my library and replace the resource, and that sets me back a resource. I think I catch it on the next turn, but wasn't good enough. I pitch a Rebel Assault because I don't have any rebels on the board, and defeat the upgrade so that my Poe Dameron can live. He's going to force throw me. And there goes Poe Dameron. Then he smuggles in a lone pike, and I am so far behind right here. So he's got Miggs Mayfield. Every time he taps his leader, he does 2 points of damage to a base or a unit, plus Miggs can attack for 2, and another 4 from the lone pike. So he's got 16 points pressing on my base, and then Miggs can also tap another 2. So he has 8. He's got 8 points of damage just represented on the base right now, or on the field right now. I go ahead and just record the Miggs, and again, not having that, not resourcing that card off the top of my deck is really biting me right now. Woo! He is making a big unit here. Each one of those constructed lightsabers is giving him raid 2. He slaps on some more. And he goes ahead and kills the Wrecker, taking some damage. He doesn't want to see that Wrecker come across the board, which is definitely the right decision.
He's a 10. Yes, he's a 10-11 with 7 damage. So he's got 4 hits.
A 10-11 with, and then raid 2. And he's got his Kylo flip coming. That time I smuggle correctly. And there's the glare. Wow. That is a Cassian Andor. That is a 3/5 trying to face down this enormous lone pike. And right here, if I had replaced the resource from the timely intervention smuggle, I would have 2 resources up and able to put a space unit into play. I had a 2-cost green leader, and the amount of damage that lone pike was doing was just brutal. I think we said 17 points of damage. So just one beast of a unit. Yeah. So we go into game 3 with 1 game each. And I will have the decision of being on the play or on the draw. Or sorry, on the initiative. A little bit of the Magic the Gathering in me coming out. Which, for those of you who don't know the history of on the play games, it's kind of where we got our name from, was the on the play, on the draw for Magic the Gathering. That's where we started way back when. Long before 2015. So we're, going into
was gonna argue to
pretty
keep
much 12 years
before all these builds.
from the start of On the Play Games.
I feel like now we keep initiative.
Back in the days when me and Stevie Kaufman were working together to try to get the Magic community and the shops to work together. Alright, so a little bit of the luck on my side there that he didn't have an immediate kill spell or way of putting damage on my unit. Resource a Battlefield Marine here. Which is a little bit of a risk because it is a unit and we're going up against a deck that loves to just defeat units. All I have is attack for 3, no fleet lieutenants in hand. He straps up the Secretive Sage. It is a 4/5 Sentinel. I go ahead and put out a Sabine's Masterpiece. He swings in for 4.
What's the blue aspect into the Secret Sage? Is there not a blue on there?
That's where we're talking
Gives
about
it Sentinel. Makes it a Sentinel. So if
giving
it's
it
a
that Sentinel.
villainy or heroism,
I claim the initiative. I believe I'm holding a Rebel Assault in my hand. I also have brought in one of my own little spicy cards that kind of makes my list a little bit unique, and that is a Power Failure that's sitting at the top, sitting at the top of my hand right now. So we're looking to be able to hopefully knock all the upgrades off of his Kylo when that turn comes. So we are entering turn 3. Rebel Assault happens. So 4 from the A-Wing, and then 4 from the Sabine, and then a ping. I go ahead and take that shield off. So 8 points to the base. Now I'm looking at the fact that he might do a Kylo activation, so I go ahead and ping the bases. Takes me a minute, but I put my point on my base too. He drops out the Witch. It's a great force unit, only costs 1. I tap 2 down because I have not seen, or I'm not factoring in that he could just.
no,
we
he's
got
a
that.
4/5.
So with this, I go ahead and take the attack in, just because I can get that extra point of damage on the base. He has the initiative though, so he's going to have the ability to take Sabine out if he wanted to. There also is the fact that the Tarkintown is still sitting there unused, which we do talk at the end about that. He could have just wiped Sabine out at the end of that turn, and then this next play that he makes would have just been backbreaking.
Somebody's in there. We gotta wait. Somebody's in there right now. Bombing run space.
Just wipes out the whole space. Excellent 3 for 1. Does allow me to get Sabine over the So Poe Dameron is ambushing in. I am going to pitch a heroic sacrifice to defeat. Or I think do 2 damage to the base. Can't remember here. Now, right here, he could use the Tarkintown and kill Poe. And then his witch could kill Sabine. But had he used it before, like Tanner knows something's he's not doing something right. he can feel it. All right, 3 to the base it is. Which had to use that Tarkintown at the end of the turn before that Sabine wouldn't even be on the table. The Poe Dameron would have been a pretty easy kill. Well, actually, no. If he had used it the turn before, the Poe Dameron would have been safe in that board state. Force throws me.
Wait, no, you're on 6. We're both on 6. Okay. Yeah, force throw you.
I discard a 4-drop. 3 to the base. Now Tanner is in that range where all I need is a 4 cause and some luck. I'm gonna claim that initiative. And at this point I'm like, can I just ping the base enough to get out of this? But then he puts down the lone pike from his resource pile, and I am definitely behind at this point. Now, he passes because he doesn't have any resources to deploy Kylo. And my decision to ping the base here becomes very important in this game. So that takes me to 10. And we had a conversation about this at the end of the thing, but look at the card he just put in the graveyard. And I do not like seeing Snapshot Reflex in the discard pile. I have to put out a Fleet Lieutenant with nothing in hand. The only thing I have still in my hand is the the electrostatic discharge or whatever, the one that defeats all units on a. So if he were to put the constructed lightsaber, and he chose to put the snapshot reflexes on there, his Kylo would be at a 10 power, and he would be able to just attack my base, and that was game right there. But he made the decision not to put the snapshot on there, going for the biggest bang that he could on the Kylo. And now it puts him in a situation where I'm still in a top deck mode, because he's going to, be able to handle my unit. I go to 15 damage on the base, 10 left. He could have put another 10 points or another 5 points on my base, and brought me to 20. Which, here we go in the top deck mode, and it's a little bit interesting here, because in that hand that I drew one of my only cards, the Timely Reinforcement, that was not heroic. So that was out of the way. I had really good odds of getting 4 cards that were heroic. And yeah, was able to take the win there. But to be honest, the Kylo deck had the win. It was there. So this goes to show you that little teeny tiny decisions in that Kylo deck made a big difference. And snapshot reflexes is just clutch. You got it in your discard pile. That's probably the right call to pay to 3 and put that one out. And I'm gonna let the banter that we have here kind of play.
Knowing your luck, you're gonna get. Like you're gonna disappoint.
I lost game 1 pick.
You lost game 1 to what?
I should have gave him the initiative. I played makes it to it. He ECL'd into it. And I had Tarkintown back. Instead of keeping the board clear, I played a unit into.
ECL.
Because he's 2 health. Like
Yeah.
he dies to like a sneeze and breath, you know. So like. But I felt like game 2 wasn't even close. But I also my.
It's gonna be a death side floods.
Oh, wing. All wing would be pretty cool.
And that's
What about snapshotting with the?
Judge Bobby that is speaking with us now.
I guess I would have put him on. He had a claim there. But it didn't matter.
He was the head judge at the Synergy Gamers
He would've
Planetary
still drawn it
Qualifier,
if he didn't power failure.
and they did a great job. That team that was judging that event.
No, because you still would have drawn 4 costs.
Yeah, but you would have killed me that time, right?
No, the snapshot would have been 1 plus 4 from the constructed, so that's 10. That puts you at.
That's dead.
That's only 5 extra damage. You get 21.
I think I was at 10, right?
Yeah, so that's 10.
That put me at 20, then you had 2 units to get attack for 5.
Is that 10?
Or is it 9? It's 9.
No,
4 and 1?
It's 4.
1. Yeah, that'd be 5, 10.
No, I think I was 1 up because.
I think Tanner was recalling me being at 9 when I started that turn, but I did ping both of our bases, which put me in the danger zone.
4.
That's 5.
And you were at.
I was at 10.
Were you at 10 or were you at?
I was at 10. I was counting everything to the base. It would kill me. In that snapshot, I was like, well, this power failure is like dead.
So if I just. Not misplay, I would have won. That's okay.
We'll cut that out.
No, I mean, that's legit.
That's great. We did talk about editing that out, but at the end of the day, we kept it in there just to have a little something to talk about. Final thoughts. Kylo Ren, just an excellent deck. After this weekend coming up on Monday the 22nd, they banned Force Throw or suspended it, which is effectively banning a card. There were a lot of speculations about other things that they might do, like there was the European sector and regional events that sold out in like an hour and a half to 2 hours each were sold out. I was watching Thork's Hot Takes, and he compared it to trying to get into a Taylor Swift concert. It was pretty crazy to try to get in that. And they were hoping they would expand the number of players that would be in the event, but that was not the announcement that was had. So that might still come because, that just shows the popularity of the game is increasing when our larger events, the ones that have like 500 and I think it's 16 is what the next step up is. Players, when they sell out in hours, that's a sign. And I hope FFG opens that up a little bit more, maybe even doubles it and really creates a giant opening for players to fill in some more slots. Because there are a lot of really competitive players that unfortunately didn't get an opportunity to enter those sector qualifiers and regional qualifier and in Europe. And that is unfortunate. It really is. Because one of the things about this game and its popularity growing, you want to make sure players are getting chances to play in these events. And having that cap set where it is kind of hindering players from being able to join those events. So we want to make sure that FFG, hears that, there's a demand. Let's meet it, especially for these bigger events. But with that said, that's a little bit of insight from the Grandline Games Store Showdown finals. Kylo Tarkintown versus Sabine ECL. And both really solid decks, great choices no matter what you're doing. And after Force Throw is banned, Sabine and possibly Quinlan Voss are going to be your top aggro decks. And then we're going to see decks that don't use Force Throw, like Boba Fett Data Vault and some of the more controlling decks, like the Kira, hard blue control. Those things could find their ways back into the meta in a major way now that Force Throw has been put on the suspension list. So be looking out for that this weekend. A lot of the players from our area are going to be heading up to Cape Fear Collectibles for their planetary qualifier, and it will be the last time that Force Throw gets used, which was a little bit to my chagrin, because I was like, oh, Force Throw gets banned right away. Well, that opens up the door for Sabine this weekend, to be really, really good. But it's going to be the day after. So got to battle through those Force Throws one more planetary qualifier, one more weekend, wherever you are. So with that said, thank you for all that have watched this far into the video. Listen to my little banter. Hope you took something from the gameplay. And if you plan on playing either one of these decks, remember to take that top card off of your library and put it in your resource pile when you smuggle. It really does hurt you when you don't. And we had gotten into the next turn, so there really wasn't a good fix for it. I had already actually drawn 2 cards, and at that point, it was a little bit beyond the fixing point. Even though it was a store showdown and a casual event, I just accepted the fact that I am down a resource. That's just what happened. And Tanner did a great job of making me pay in game 2 for that. So with that said, again, I want to thank everybody that came out. And I look forward to returning the favor by showing up to a store showdown over at Synergy. And whether it's day or night, this is On The Play Games saying, may the Force be with you.